All right. So, hello, everyone. I am here chatting with a great professor, Miss Jane, and she is going to be talking to us about opportunities within applying for college, specifically to become an interior designer. So, I'm going to open the floor for her to share a little bit of her background, and then we'll get into some questions.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning here.
Mhm.
Um, Jane Nichols. One of the questions was about my education, and I started with an associate degree in interior design. At that time, that was a thousand years ago, they actually didn't have bachelor's degrees in interior design. It was either architecture or home economics. And I was and my role model was Gloria Steinem. So I said, I'm not going to college to be a home economics. So I went for an associate degree in interior design. And that actually served me for about 2 decades. And then I realized I was getting turned over for promotions because I didn't have the bachelor's. So I went to school in my 40s and finished the bachelor's degree. And then kind of as a nerd, loved school so much, I just kept going. So I had a master's of interdisciplinary studies. And so it's kind of urban studies and gerontology, which is the study of aging. And then I got my master's of science in design from Arizona State University. And then I went on and got a PhD in sustainability education from Prescott College in Arizona. So all of my degrees look a little different, and I learned a lot of different things, and I apply all of it every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, break it down for us. What does a typical day look like for you in this field?
In interior design, and that's one of the great things about it is every day looks different.
Mhm.
No day. Usually, like most professions, you're going to start your day with communications. So, what phone calls do you have to answer? What emails came in? What text messages? And just kind of put out any fires that are burning, respond to any requests for information, and that sort of thing. And then it's kind of depending on your deadlines. It's a very deadline driven profession. And so, what is due immediately? What do you really have to work on that moment, that day? But every day is different. And so, many days you're doing drawings or you're doing revisions to drawings. You might be sketching and looking for imagery for inspiration. You might be doing mood boards or material boards for clients, going to client meetings. Other times you'll be going to visit the job site to make sure things are being constructed the way you ask them to. Or you might be doing an installation at the end of a project when everything's being delivered and it's very exciting. And then you'll also have a lot of team meetings because everything is done in teams now. So with other designers or with architect or engineers or general contractor, client. And so a lot of this major, like so many, really requires good communication skills.
All right, everybody. I hope you caught that. Good communication skills and teamwork are some essential parts about being a designer. And so that is something that I like to incorporate in class as well. Really pushing people out, the students outside the box, because again, like you said, you're collaborating with various industries and you have to be able to be flexible with your time. I can kind of hear that as you were sharing. So give me some likes and dislikes with everything you shared about your day in the life. I mean, what do you like about it and what's that dislike?
I think the dislikes, I love everything that I do in design. The dislikes are more about just sort of the industry. Um, it doesn't pay well enough for all that we need to know and all the school that we get. It doesn't pay enough. Um, but you can make a living, you can support yourself. And my other dislike is just kind of the public still is unaware of what interior designers actually do. They think of more of a decorator and that we just come in and make things pretty. But you have to learn so much more and really respond to health and safety needs. And so those would be my two big dislikes. Excuse me. My likes are just the variety of it, because every day you're using both sides of your brain. You're using the creative side and the logical, technical side, lots of technology, but also lots of creativity. I think that's why most of us choose this field. I also like that it is flexible and it can change with your lifestyle. So if you want to, if you've got children and you want to stay home more, you can work less and you can work from home if you're maybe doing residential design or even freelancing. If you want to do hospitality design and jet set around the world, designing hotels, you can do that, but then it kind of doesn't work well with a family life. If you want to more of a 8 to 5 job, then you can be in corporate design, and that's kind of, those are your clients, so that's the schedule that they're on. And so that's one of the things I have appreciated about it over my lifespan, because everything is always changing and you can really modify your career to meet those goals.
Yes, I love that. That was actually one of the first objectives that we talked about, are the careers, and actually talking about the factors that impact design, such as the human factors, social, global awareness, and then of course environmental. So like you hitting all those points lets me know we're on the right track. Okay. So with that being said, what are some things that you wish you would have known? Because I remember you mentioning earlier that you had your associates and your associates took you 2 decades. But now looking back over your journey, what is something you wish you would have known from the beginning?
I think I wish I would have known that architects get more respect than interior designers,
Mm,
not been afraid of the math, because I probably would have gone for an architecture degree. Many of our graduates do go on for a master's of architecture because you learn so much about it. Um, that's probably the only thing I wish I had known. I think, it's really a journey. You're discovering things every day. And the things that you learn just help you to keep moving forward. So there really isn't anything that I feel like, I wish I had known that I would have done things differently. I probably wouldn't have done anything differently.
okay, well, that's good. But I love that you made that mention of math, because a lot of students shy away from it, aka Miss Baker. At one point I shied away from math. But I also see the benefit and the use that we have in it in our daily lives. Like, you can't shy away from math. If you want your money, it's math.
Yeah, and it's basic. I mean, we're not doing calculus. Um,
Right, right.
the basics of being able to read a spreadsheet is really important. Um, Understanding percentages and markups, profit margins, those are all things you're going to want to know about.
Yes. All right. I hope students are taking heed, because Miss Baker is. Okay. So with that being said, how did you actually say I want to be a designer? Like, take me back to high school. Take me back to that initial, I'm applying for college. Where did that come from? Where did that come from for you?
Well, I always loved art and I just assumed I would be an artist. Took lots of classes, um, but I also liked nice things. And so I didn't really want to be a starving artist. Uh, I had a class in high school and it was divided between, because it was in the olden days, we did cooking and we did sewing and then we did interior design. And so I learned interior design in that class, and I said, could I do this like as a living for a career? And they said, oh yes, you could. So that was it for me. I decided at that point that's something I could do. I wanted to be creative, but I didn't want to starve. I wanted to be able to support myself and work with a variety of people. and it's not a solo thing like art is kind of, you do it at home alone. Into very social. You're with people all the time, and all different kinds of people. You might be working with the CEO of a major company one day, or a wealthy, really well-known, respected celebrity, and then later that day you're working with subcontractors, and you're working with the guy who's laying your tile and putting in the toilet. And so you have to be able to communicate with everybody, and not be a prima donna, because nobody that. um yeah, those
Okay.
are the.
That's good. I like that because again, you're hitting all the points that I try to stress in class, that you have to be flexible, a team player, someone who's willing to communicate with others, and overall just bring some creativity to the table. If you don't come with some of your tools in a toolkit, we can't build this house. We can't build this room and make it the best it could be. So we have to come prepared and equipped, hence the classes and just life experiences. So I really like how you shared that. So I want to also go into just some characteristics. Like, I know you said about being able to communicate, teamwork. What are some other aspects that students should consider for themselves? Like when they're doing like a personality test, what are some things about their personality that can relate to this career?
I think most of the students that I have are passionate. They come do it. They might not have an exact idea of what it is they're doing, but they're excited about it. And in the freshman year, they learn about sort of the foundations, um, and they will self-select out if they decide this is too hard or too demanding or just not what they expected. Then they will leave the program. They will leave the major. For the students that find, yes, this is hitting all the buttons for me, then they stay, and that passion has to stay with them. Time management is probably the biggest key. And that is, again, something we teach them as freshmen, because in high school, everything is sort of compartmentalized for you. You have to go to this class at this time and do this, and your homework is due that day. Um, and then you've got after school things, and in your career, it's not. You just have a long list of things you need to do. You might be working on 10 projects at a time. And so you have to manage your time, and you have to figure out what the priorities are, and then just always kind of be working ahead. You cannot be a procrastinator. That is the recipe for failure, is if you procrastinate, because you are always going to run out of time. That's kind of the rule. Design ends when the deadline hits. Otherwise, you're going to keep going.
Woo, now that's a quote right there. That's a quote. I like that. Okay. So I want to turn the conversation to you about how they can enroll. What should their GPA be? Like those type of prerequisites.
It depends on the college or university you're applying to, because they all have different acceptance rates, and those change. Like every year, it's a little different based on who else is applying. You want to be prepared with a good academic background. GPA, 2.0, you're probably not going to get into college without at least a 2.0. Most of our students in the major are coming in with 3.0 or higher, but it's not a prerequisite. The real prerequisite is the motivation, because you do have to have passion, and you do have to manage your time. And so if the motivation is there, then you can do it. I started out in a community college working on my associate degree. You have to be a little bit careful how that might transfer in. So check with your local colleges and universities about that, if that's something that you think you want to do. And take a class. There's lots of classes out there. You could start with a community college night class or something like that, and test it out. We've got 3 classes in our freshman year, and as I said, some students say, not for me. So class will really help you to decide that. Start looking early. You want to try eventually to look for a CETA accredited university. Um, that's sort of the gold standard of design education. Um, and ask around, visit campuses, see how your gut feels, because on the website you can get one impression. Intellectually you can feel that this is right, but then when you get there, you have to really trust your gut, because it's going to tell you this is where I belong, or maybe not a great fit.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I think that that is a real key. I really want all the students to take advantage, especially of college application week coming up in October. That is a really key week to really go ahead and apply to these North Carolina colleges for free, all 58 community colleges and a select group of university. So really take advantage of that. Any other comments you would like to share about your work experience, what the kids should have? Like if I'm a freshman coming to your school, would it be beneficial if I have taken Ms. Baker's interior design fundamentals, interior design studio, having a portfolio ready? Like what would be some of the key things I should have? Is there an interview portion?
There is not. I think most schools have sort of moved away from the portfolio review because these classes aren't available everywhere. If you find one, you're really lucky. If you're in Miss Baker's class, then you already have a heads up and you really understand what the discipline's about, what the industry is about. So that's very helpful. And I tell students, take the technology classes because you use a lot of technology. If you can learn Adobe Photoshop or AutoCAD, any of those skills. Even writing, we do a lot of writing, that which might surprise you, but you have to be a good writer. Art classes to really understand your creative inspiration, photography classes, and travel. Every opportunity you get to see a new place, it will change you and stay with you. And all of the things that you see and experience will become part of your intrinsic memory and your sensibility about design. And the reason I say photography is like through the lens of a camera, you see the world a little differently. And so I think having that experience will also help you be a better designer.
Good. Okay. Wow. Well, I really have been inspired. I'm ready. If I was in their shoes, I would be ready to apply right now. Because it is a very beneficial field. Being a high school educator of family and consumer sciences and my focus area being interior design, I have seen the benefits. And I have been able to meet people such as yourself through this journey, and it has really inspired me. So I hope that this has inspired you to go out, pursue this field. There's a wide range of opportunities. I mean, like Ms. Jane said, you could be working with the CEO to the celebrity. So it's a great, great field, vast opportunities, and you guys need to apply today. So I'm done. I think that's it. If you got anything else you want to share, any contact information.
Yeah, we're at High Point University. We're in the middle of the state. And we do start in freshman year. So you would apply and declare the major right away and test it out, see if you like it. But one other thing, like you're in sort of a traditional space right now, but I didn't get most of my degrees until I was in my 40s and 50s. And so, don't be afraid to go back if you're working for a while, or to take one class at a time if that suits your needs. There's a lot of different ways to accomplish it. If you can get internships with interior designers, shadow them or work for them for the summer, that's really going to help you as well. So do the traditional path if you can, but if you can't, just keep an open mind about how to get it done at some point in time.
Yes, that's the goal. Get it done. All right, students, this has been our interview at High Point University here in North Carolina. Thank you.
Good luck, everybody.